Welcome viewers, this is Winch here. I want to talk about Operation Whiteout, the latest surprise information with Final Stand and the release on CTE of an actual playable preview, full playable demo, I guess, essentially, of this to-come release, Final Stand, the final DLC release in Battlefield 4. However, it's rumored, as you guys I'm sure know, that there is a secret DLC in the works, but no confirmation on that yet from DICE. So what I'm doing something today is a little bit different. I do have gameplay of me playing in these maps, but I can say that for another video because I don't want to get this too long and I want to keep these down about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to show you some gameplay from me spectating and give you my overall impressions of this DLC and this map in particular. And yeah, not to be critical of other YouTubers out there, and check out this moment, huh? That's cool. I mean, moments like this, again, are going to be pretty prevalent, I think, in this map. But not to be critical of other producers out there on YouTube, but not many people seem to offer their opinion of the game and the direction of this DLC. Rather, they want to dive into specifics, and you know me, I like to get a little more a bigger picture type mentality about what we're seeing here and just discuss my viewpoint based on my experiences with Battlefield. Now, I never played Battlefield 2142, which of course is the futuristic spin of the game. By the way, right here in the footage, I'm just trying to go over the various capture positions on this conquest, kind of give you a feel of the map, just go through various corridors that kind of give you, if you're on console, kind of some expectations, which you can see here, just a little more there. But I never played Battlefield 2142, but I've said over and over again, I would like to see a futuristic shooter from the Battlefield genre in a modern type setting today in terms of using the, you know, I don't want to play Battlefield 2142, that's an old game in my opinion. I want to see a modern variant of that today, so I was quite surprised, and I'm sure many of you guys were too, because they did a good job of keeping this under wraps. This DLC is a big departure from what we are at Battlefield 4. In terms of incorporating these elements in the game. I mean, a hover tank, a rail gun, that flying minigun thing, and forgive me, I don't know the names yet. You saw that turret in the beginning. That thing's an absolute monster, which I've always been kind of critical in Battlefield 4. That I never thought that the battle pickups were that strong in the first place, and the tow launchers were never really worth my time to expose myself, you know, to get 30 damage with one hit on a tank. So I like to see that they're bringing in these elements into the gameplay. The railgun, you're going to see some gameplay here, footage of a guy with it here in a moment. I think those weapons should be overpowered because, I mean, they're pickup weapons. But my concern is, in having played the game now, is that it's very difficult to locate these items. It's not clearly defined on the mini-map. And I just don't like battle pickups because as soon as you pick them up and you die, that's all you get to do with it, and they don't respawn that often, just a couple times in a match on any given time, so people get this stuff really quick and then it's gone and you don't get a chance to do it again. Here he is finding it here, I guess, in this wreckage or something. I don't even know what position this was, Delta maybe. So there it is, there's battle pickup, he picks it up. And he's going to go on a pretty good rampage here. Now, in the spectator view, you don't get to quite see it from his perspective completely. There's a slight bit of lag in it, so you don't see him reload. I don't think you see the lock-on process, but you can see in the kill feed on him that he is successfully getting a lot of kills. Now, I've been killed by this flying in the helicopter. That's pretty impressive. You know, a lot of people are critical of that. But let me just talk about this map. As you can see here, the Snowstorm is an absolute nightmare for your eyes visually. It's absolutely painful, at least for me, to play in this all the time. So there's a solution that I found to this. I'll discuss that in my next video. It's a little trick or tip, a specific loadout I will offer to you in terms of maximize your effectiveness if this Snowstorm stays in hopefully they get rid of this. But that's the quote Levolution event on this map, I guess, is a dynamic weather. It's much like the Snowstorm on lockers, and we all know that's quite a bit of an aggravation when we're all out there trying to you're trying to place shots at range, and obviously this is a big expansive map. So having that Snowstorm really hinders your ability, which I don't know, maybe that's a balancing technique to make sure Recons aren't the all-powerful enemy, but the bottom line, the fact of the matter is that Recons rule all on this map. When I was playing on my last match on PC, I was killed 10 times by the same guy. and he was just a beast sniper. But he could just, I mean, he was always in kind of the same area, but somehow he always managed to know where I was at, no matter where I was on the map. And just by coincidence, I mean, the guy just slaughtered me. So what I've observed here, and you can see some beast Recon gameplay here in a moment, is that Recon's rule all. This is a big expansive map, and it's a big departure from the last DLC, which arguably, in my opinion, Dragon's Teeth is hands down the best DLC created, because that's what the community wants. And that's where I'm starting to get into the meat of this video, is I don't like this direction. I really don't. This is too much like Armored Kill. This is too much like China Rising. Too much like Endgame. These are all DLCs that people come out and say, and here's this guy. Let's jump in here with Mr. Nova here and do some MLG commentating on this guy's incredible sniping potential. Look at this vantage point Nova has. No, guys, I'm not a commentator, but you're gonna see some. Look at this guy. I mean, this guy's a monster here. Yeah, this is what my hat's off to snipers like this. Snipes a guy out of the chopper, and he just goes on tear. And he's way up here up on some kind of glacier, so it's a great vantage point for snipers, and you see a lot of this in this game. It's not just this glacier. But what I'm trying to say in the direction, I mean, this falls in line with the previous DLCs that we've had with Battlefield that just, they're not desirable by the community. It's heavy vehicle emphasis, it's heavy range, and it's not what Dragon's Teeth produce, and you can see clearly. Just from the following on YouTube after Dragon's Teeth, it's all people post. All people post is Dragon's Teeth. Lots of big kill streaks, you know, the meat grinder type stuff. I mean, that's what people play. Metro, Lockers, Pearl Market. I mean, when I look at the server, the custom servers on Battlefield, at least on PS4, there's like 2,000 ticket servers all the time for the meat grinder servers and maps. I don't ever see maps and servers for example, China Rising. I mean, we can all agree that that's pretty much a bad DLC, I think, at this point. It's not what we want. So my concern is that these maps, there's, you know, the equipment and the pickups, it's just not enough for me. And this is something I said before, and call me a COD noob, but I really would like to see battle pickups be incorporated into some type of score streak mechanic, be rewarded for good gameplay, and be able to purchase a railgun at certain times in the gameplay, as opposed to having to run across the map to try to pick it up once or twice when it spawns in. It would just add a completely different dynamic. Just make it a separate game mode if the hardcore Battlefield elitists don't want that in the game. You know, call it the score streak game mode or what have you. I mean, they already have so many game modes in Battlefield as it is. Would it kill them to make some kind of point reward system for capturing objectives, killing players, using teamwork, being successful, being MVP, and just be able to purchase a tank, a helicopter, a gun, change your loadout, you know, kind of like a supply drop crate. Let's just say that you can call it a supply drop crate and you can get any battle pickup item you want in it. But, you know, this is the stuff DICE doesn't want to hear because it departs too much from the roots. But you could argue that DICE has already departed so much from the roots, just going from Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4, trying to compete with COD. That's what they're doing. That's what they continue to do. I mean, look at the correlation between this and Advanced Warfare. I mean, the tanks, hover tanks, this going into the modern type shooter. That's where all the first-person shooters are going right now, from Titanfall to COD. I mean, clearly Battlefield's done the modern stuff way too much, so it's time to get in the future stuff. You know, these tanks and stuff like this, they look cool, but in terms of their actual implementation, execution, there's some significant shortcomings with this vehicle. Don't use clear sight. That's a bad idea. Wide on wide is not a good idea. But overall, I've got kind of a meh attitude on this so far. You know, we'll see. I don't like the fact there's no weapons at all for any of the classes. That's a huge drawback. But you know, again, maybe they're coming. I'm going to try to get you some more gameplay here. I won't be able to cover all the maps on the CTE. I'll only cover about half of them. And, you know, again, it's a frustration to me that it's only available on PC. I think that's a big failing with CTE because there's easily many times more players on console that would be playing this as opposed to a handful or a couple hundred, maybe 300 at most I see on CTE at any given time. And that's unusually high as it is. But, you know, it is what it is, beyond the technical know-how of me. But hope you guys like this video, guys. I just want to kind of expose you to this gameplay. I will have more gameplay of me actually playing this and give you some tips and strategies and continue my impressions and the ever-going coverage of this last Final Stand DLC. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you on the battlefield.